If you're an artist who wants to get back to your art practice and make your biggest artist comeback, then this video is for you. I've been an art teacher for over 8 years now, and over 100,000 students have used my tutorials online. So I've seen tons of artists take a break from it and come back to it. So you feel a bit guilty, feel a bit ashamed, put that aside. Life gets busy, life gets hard. There's so many complicating factors here. So don't feel bad, but let's figure out how we can get you back to making art so you can finally make projects that you care about. The first strategy that can help you immensely is to not do any tutorials that you do not enjoy. Do not do tutorials just because you think you should do them. The reason why most artists become amazing, the reason why a lot of artists develop real skills is because they lean into the things that they're actually interested in. Now, I know it's tempting to think that there's like one optimized pathway that you need to go down, and I'm just going to like force myself through it and be as fast as possible, but all that will do is burn you out. Now, unless it's like your career path and you just have all the time in the world to like force yourself to do it, you can try it, but realistically speaking, you probably do this as a hobby. And if it's a hobby that you want to make sustainable, you have to find a way to love it, which means that you should avoid any tutorials that you do not enjoy, including mine. If there's any of my tutorials or anything that of my educational material that doesn't suit you, doesn't seem exciting to you, then don't do it. Now, there's also the flip side where you can learn how to enjoy certain things, but that can come from a place of just like trying to force yourself. That's not going to work out in your favor. And it's just probably the reason why you quit to begin with. If you want to make this comeback, you have to ask yourself why you quit to begin with. Like, why did you stop drawing? And the number one reason most people stop drawing and creating things is because they're trying to force themselves to do things that are completely unnatural, things that they don't actually care about or enjoy, but they think they need to do it to get somewhere. Put all of that aside, stop consuming tutorials that are not exciting to you, and see what comes out a little bit more naturally, and then find those bits of curiosity and then feed that with educational material that actually solves for problems that you care about deeply. If you don't care about how anatomy works, if that's not exciting to you, don't force yourself to draw anatomy. You know how much art there is out there that doesn't include anatomy? There's so much, and you can still make deeply expressive things. You still draw beautifully, no matter what YouTubers will tell you about like, oh, here's the thing, the skill that you need to do this thing. It's like, no, actually, there's so many different ways of approaching things. So try to find a way that works for you. And you might be shocked by the things that you actually enjoy drawing versus the intellectual idea and dream that you have in your mind. Sometimes it can be helpful to put aside the mind thing, the intellect for a moment, and see what actually feels good in your body, because that could fuel an energy that makes drawing so much easier. It makes it easier to have a comeback. It is very possible to enjoy drawing more than watching TV, more than scrolling on your phone. That is 100% possible. That is what most successful artists are experiencing. The reason why they got so good is because they enjoy it, which means that you shouldn't be doing tutorials that you do not enjoy. Obviously, you can build skill. I'm not telling you to stay away from all the technical skills. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the technical skills should feed into the things that you actually care about. And to figure that out, you might have to take a break from tutorials. You might have to take a break from all the technical stuff. Come back to who you are as a person. What do you care about? And then fuel it from that place instead of from this place that you should be doing certain things because someone online told you. Okay, a lot of the artists who are successful online, they had some luck on their side. Their taste just happened to align with a certain genre, which is why they can talk so much about just pushing, because it just happens to align with them. But that might not work for you, which is probably why you stopped. So take a break from tutorials for a moment and then come back to it later. The second strategy that we want to implement to have our biggest artist comeback this year is to build an art habit that actually reflects who we are as a person. Instead of trying to force yourself to do art the way that other people do it, ask yourself what would actually work for you, considering all the different complexities of your life. If you are someone who works a full-time job and you come back home tired, exhausted, you have dinner, and it's very hard to draw, then maybe don't try to build your art habit in the moment where you're the most tired. Maybe it makes sense to wake up 10 minutes earlier and do a little doodle in the morning while you have your coffee. So you have this daily habit and you start to build momentum in a very small packet. And then when the day does open up, you happen to have 4 hours on a weekend that you didn't plan for. You'll have all this momentum in terms of drawing that makes you excited to draw, so it's easier to actually sit down. If you're constantly trying to plan these big chunks and then you're going to be like, have this heroic moment where you're suddenly going to do all this drawing, that is way too much pressure to be putting on yourself. What you want to do is you want to scale down your practice and figure out how you can build momentum, stay in touch with that creative energy, so when the time opens up, you have the energy and you have ideas and you feel excited to actually sit down, because it's not something new. It's something that you just do on a daily basis. And that has to reflect your daily life. You have to ask yourself, what works for me? What kind of mediums do I want to do? Like, do I want to scale down the mediums that I'm using because paints take too long to set up? Like, maybe I should just buy a small sketchbook and leave it on my table, leave it on my counter, so I do a little doodle every single day. These are the types of strategies that you want to implement. Now, I have a practical art habit map that you can grab below. I will be doing an explainer video on this and add to it over the next week or so, but you can grab this down there for free. This is what I work through with a lot of my clients in the Joyful Creative to build a sustainable art habit that actually reflects who they are and makes sense within their life so that they can develop their love for it, build momentum, and actually grow. If you're someone who's been trying to force yourself constantly and you're not growing as an artist, you're not seeing any improvement, and you just keep burning out, it's probably because you haven't considered some of these factors. You haven't considered that you just don't like this medium and you keep like trying to push towards this medium, or maybe you need some more accountability in your life. Maybe you are someone who works really well if someone's looking over your shoulder every once in a while. You have to ask yourself these types of questions so that you can design an art habit that actually works for you. I'm essentially a personal trainer for creativity, so if that sounds interesting to you, check out the Joyful Creative that's linked below. I would love to meet you and talk to you about some of these challenges, and I would love to work with you so that you can actually build the art habit that makes sense within your life and reflects who you are, so that you can get back to like working on things that you actually care about. And that's something that we can work on as well. Just figuring out what matters to you and how to put all of that into your art practice at any level. Even if you're a beginner, this is tremendously helpful because it'll build a foundation that will build a lot of momentum. It's almost like compound interest on your creativity. So if that's interesting to you, check out the link below. I would love to meet you. The third strategy that you want to use to have your biggest artist comeback this year is to be careful of the labels that you put on yourself. You might consider yourself someone who doesn't work hard, or I'm lazy, I don't have discipline. But what you're probably doing is underestimating how hard you would work at something if you truly loved it. If you did it from a place of like, I actually enjoy this thing, how hard can you actually work? How hard have you worked on video games, for example? Have you played a video game where you just like play the video game for like 48 hours straight? Well, 48 hours is pretty intense, but like where you, like a whole weekend where all you did was play a video game, or you got obsessive over something? You probably have these tendencies, and it's usually because you love it, you enjoy it, which means that there is this part of you that is able to work hard. This part of you that isn't lazy. Now you might want to design things around that, right? So obviously like design your art habit in a way that feeds into the things that work well for you. But don't label yourself a certain way and assume that you do not know yourself that well. One thing that can be tremendously helpful for artists is to realize that life is full of uncertainty. There are corners of your mind and soul that are so unexplored right now, and you have to leave yourself open to it. If you keep yourself very rigid, you're not going to find your way through this. You want to be flexible, right? The whole like Bruce Lee idea of like be like water, that is tremendously helpful if you are a creative person, because creativity is about uncertainty. The whole point of being a creative person is taking risk and like exploring things that you don't know. Like listen to interviews with any of your favorite artists or your favorite musicians. Listen to their interviews. So much of what they talk about is discovering new things about themselves. Okay, oh, I went and traveled here and then I was inspired by it and then I made art about it. They're not planning out 10 years in advance, right? What they're doing is they're being open to what happens in life and then adjusting themselves and leaning into things that feel good. And to do that, you have to be careful about the labels that you put on yourself. If you keep your identity too rigid, you will not explore. So let's say, for example, you're someone who considers themselves like really into anime. And that's like, I just want to do anime. Maybe try something else for a moment. If you've been trying to force yourself to do that one style, try something else and see how much you might enjoy it. Maybe this identity and label that you've been holding on to isn't serving you anymore. Yes, it's an interest. You like watching it. You like that type of art, but maybe it's not the art that you need to be making because it's not part of who you are deep inside. It's a part of your personality, it's part of what you enjoy, but maybe it's not the thing that you need to be making. I like walking, for example, I like running, but that doesn't mean that I need to be a runner, right? You can enjoy something without it becoming part of the thing that you do. And that can be true for any style, by the way. I don't have any problems with anime as a style. I love it. So just to be clear. So be careful about the labels that you place on yourself. The fourth strategy that you want to implement to have your biggest artist comeback this year is to be careful of online art communities. I know this is going to be a hot take, but maybe stay away from some online art communities unless it's a paid cohort. Unless you're in some sort of like coaching program, mentorship program where there is like a small group of people who are paying to be there and are taking it very seriously, I would be very careful about online art communities. Because really think about it for a second. Who are the people who spend the most amount of time in online art communities? It's usually the people who are not making any art and are just online to just talk. That's all they do. They're just talking about art and they're criticizing everyone. They think they have all the answers because their egos are big, but they're not making any art. That's the only reason why your ego can be big, by the way. Like as soon as you start making art and actually are honest about it, it'll humble you real quickly. That is why you want to be careful about the opinions of these types of people in these communities, because a lot of times they become toxic. They become these loops where people just talk to themselves about all these like drama, all this kind of stuff that's useless. It doesn't make you a better artist. Now, if you do find a person inside an art community who you like, then start maybe building a friendship on an individual basis. But I would highly recommend you be careful about how much time you're spending in these online art communities, because they're not necessarily going to help you find your voice, the things that you care about. They might talk a lot about their opinions, and sometimes you might enjoy that type of discussion. But if you're in a place right now where you're not making art, right, and you're trying to make this comeback, I would put aside all of that noise, put it aside. Don't post your art into these discords and hope for likes and all that. Just stop doing that. That's not serving you. Focus on your art. Pay attention to just what makes sense for you right now. And you can go back to those online communities if you truly believe that they're serving you, but you'll only figure that out if you take a break. Now, for some of you, you might be listening to this and you'll be like, hey, I don't even know what you were talking about. I'm not in any online art communities. Then good. Because honestly, I don't think it serves most people. I think it's a lot of times a waste of time unless you find these individual friends, unless you're in a cohort where people are taking it seriously. These smaller groups where it's like invite only, those types of things can work. But a lot of times these places become toxic. They become these places where people are just vying for attention, wanting to talk, and it just doesn't help you. The fifth strategy that you want to use to have your biggest artist comeback this year is to sign up for a class. If there's a local class, drawing class, even if it's not your specific style that you're interested in, maybe you need to kickstart your habit by taking classes outside of your house or maybe online. Now, I'm going to recognize I'm very biased here. I am someone who is in the education space, but I also put my money where my mouth is. I spend a lot of money on coaching and mentorship calls with artists that I like. I sign up for classes anytime I feel like my habit is falling off. It's a very effective method. And I think a big part of it for me is that I am a cheap person. As soon as I spend money on something, I'm like, I'm going to get every dollar out of this, right? As soon as I pay this person, as soon as that I see that money leave my account, I'm like, hey, now I got to make it worth it. One thing that really stands out in my mind is that I think about 2 years ago, I signed up for one of my favorite teachers, like cohort program, like coaching program and mentorship. The day I signed up, I did so much art. Like it was crazy to me. I was like, I didn't realize I had energy to do 7 hours of art on that day. I stayed up late at night. I was writing a bunch. I was coming up with ideas. I was doing so much more work. And the shift was intense. Like it was so black and white that the day before I was kind of like lazy about my art, like if I'm being honest. But as soon as I pay that money, boom, I'm working so hard because I'm like, that money, I worked hard for that money and I'm going to make sure it's worth every dollar. Now, this is not something that works for everyone. Obviously, I'm biased because I am in the education space, but it is something to consider. A lot of times there are cheap community classes that you can take, and sometimes you need that accountability and that pressure to actually get things moving. So consider that if that is something that works for you. Is spending money on something that has actually worked for you in the past? Consider those types of things. Now, if you want my help to build a sustainable art practice that actually is from a place of love and joy and considers all the complexities of your life and actually is effective for you so that you can have artistic growth that will skyrocket you long term, then check out the Joyful Creative that's linked below. I'm basically a personal trainer for creatives. So if that's interesting to you, check it out. I would love to meet you. I would love to design a habit that works for you, build that momentum together so that you can actually make art that you care about. I know there's a lot of noise online about AI art and all this other stuff. None of those things will matter because ultimately you know in your heart that making art will make you feel proud. That is the key to all of this. No matter what kind of technical skills that you have, even if you're an absolute beginner, maybe you started drawing yesterday, you know that if you develop this skill and develop from a place of love and care and treat yourself well, you'll be proud of the art that you make, even if it isn't masterful. And that is the ultimate goal. We want to build an art practice that connects us to who we are so that we can feel proud of ourselves at the end of the day. You're never going to get to a place where you're just like making magical art that you'll feel like, oh, I get all these likes online and that's going to make me feel great. It might feel good for a moment, but ultimately how you feel about yourself is the thing that you're going to be sitting with. So if you are a creative person, if you are someone who wants to make art, like if that's in your heart, is something that you've desired for a long time, then do it and do some of the hard work from a place of love so that you can feel proud of yourself. Any day where I push myself to make more art in a way that's loving, right? So there's discipline, some discipline, but a lot of that discipline is coming from a place of love. It feels so good at the end of the day. I'm a dancer as a hobby, right? So I'm going to take art aside because obviously it's a little bit easier for me to make more art because this is part of my job. So I'm going to talk about dance for a moment. Dance is a hobby in my life. I spend money on it. I take time aside from all my work to make it happen. Because any day where I dance and I focus on my style, the things that I want to work on, I feel so much more proud of myself, even if it comes with a little bit of sacrifice. My days are just so much better. And I know I haven't been dancing in a while when I feel a bit of like I'm not honoring this part of myself. Like I'm not living the life that I want for me. That is the reason why you want to double down on the things that you care about. And if you want my help with that, the Joyful Creative is specifically designed for people to help them design a habit while also having a busy life. Because a lot of us, we don't have, all the time in the world to make art, but we can still find a way to build a small art habit, build the momentum so that it can grow into something beautiful, something bigger, or maybe just it stays small. And that's the way that you stay in touch with your creativity. And that's beautiful on its own. So if that's interesting to you, check out the link below. And also check out the practical art habit map that's linked below. I will be doing a video explaining some of that stuff, but right now it's a map, so go grab it. See you again soon.